China's first emperor was Qin Shi Huangdi. He unified the country, constructed part of the Great Wall, and unified writing, roads, and weights and measures across the empire. But he did it with an iron fist, causing enormous suffering to his people. He is perhaps the most famous, but not the greatest Chinese emperor. So who is China's greatest emperor? Well, for that, we have to look to China's golden age, the great Tang Dynasty. And the emperor widely believed to be the greatest ever is the second emperor of that dynasty, Tang Taizong, and this is his story. After the fall of Qin Shi Huang's Qin dynasty, China entered what many call its first golden age, the Han Dynasty, which lasted 400 years. After the Han, a period of division followed. First, it was the Three Kingdoms period, where many battles were fought and great heroes made a name for themselves. Then, the Northern and Southern dynasties period, where again different states competed for power, but none managed to take the whole of China. That is, until the year 581 AD, when Yang Jian of the Northern Zhou dynasty, one of three competing states, ended the Northern and Southern dynasties period, unifying all of China under the Sui dynasty, or Sui Chao. He ruled as Emperor Wen, or Sui Wendi. But the Sui dynasty was harsh. Emperor Wen saw himself as a defender of the Buddhist faith through military force, and had grand plans to build his empire. But this took its toll on the people. Large numbers of men were called up for labor works and military service. They built the Grand Canal, extended the Great Wall, and over 1 million men fought in a series of military campaigns against Korea that ended in disaster in 614 AD with over 300,000 casualties. The people had had enough and started to rebel, and the Sui would end up like the Qin, a short-lived militaristic dynasty that set the stage for a golden age, the Tang. The man who would become Emperor Tang Taizong was born in the year 598 in Shanxi province. His name was Li Shimin, son of Li Yuan, who was a general in the Sui army and actually a nephew of the founding emperor Sui Wendi. Li Yuan's mother, and thus Li Shimin's grandmother, was the sister of the empress. Now, towards the end of the Sui dynasty, during the rule of the second Sui emperor, Emperor Yang, the military losses were mounting. There were also some prophecies being spread in the empire that the next emperor would be surnamed Li. Because of this, Emperor Yang had already killed one official named Li Hun and his entire family. Li Yuan became fearful that he would be next and considered overthrowing the emperor to save him and his family. But what he didn't know was that his son, Li Shimin, had already started planning a rebellion with some of his father's associates. Once Li Yuan was told about this, he agreed and made his son, Li Shimin, a general, and they started advancing west. Li Shimin proved pivotal in the campaign against the Sui, and in 618, Li Yuan's forces prevailed and he established the Tang Dynasty, with him as its first emperor, reigning as Emperor Gaozu. But while his father served as emperor, Li Shimin was still a general and immediately had to start dealing with incursions to the Tang Empire, some from the outside, some from remnants of the Sui dynasty military. This culminated in the Battle of Hulao Pass, or Hulao Zhijian. Li Shimin returned to the Tang capital, Chang'an, as a hero, and his father bestowed upon him the title Tiance Shangjiang, Grand General of Heavenly Strategies. But the territory captured by Li didn't remain in Tang hands for long, and in the year 622, his father sent him back out to the same area. This time, he used an ingenious strategy of damming a river and then quickly destroying the dam and allowing the resulting flood to destroy the rebel army. Now, also around this time, a rivalry began between Li Shimin and his two brothers, Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji. One time, Li Shimin suffered food poisoning after visiting Li Jiancheng's palace, and he interpreted that as an assassination attempt. Basically, it seems that Li Shimin felt that his older brother, Li Jiancheng, who was the crown prince and first in line to the throne, saw Li Shimin as a threat due to his impressive military achievements, and thus his life was in danger. So Li Shimin decided to do what any reasonable person would do: and kill his brothers first before they could kill him. Yeah, it's dark, guys, but you know, this is what it's like being part of a powerful family.
And he was like, yeah, it's me. And he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
In 626 AD, this all came to a head. Li Shimin sent his father a message that his 2 brothers were having affairs with his father's concubines. Thus, Emperor Gaozu sent summons to Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji, but they didn't know that they were walking into a trap. You see, Li Shimin had already taken control of the Xuanwu Gate, or Xuanwu Men, the main gate to the palace in the capital, Chang'an. He'd done this by bribing the officer commanding the gate, who conveniently had served under Li Shimin before and was reassigned to the capital. When his 2 brothers arrived, Li Shimin was already laying in wait and personally shot an arrow at his brother Li Jiancheng, killing him. Another officer then caught up with his younger brother Li Yuanji as he rode off on his horse and killed him too. This has come to be known as the Xuanwu Gate Incident, or Xuanwu Men Zhibian. Li Shimin's forces then entered the palace, and his father, under pressure, first made him crown prince, but then within a couple of months abdicated, yielding the throne to Li Shimin, who became the 2nd emperor of the Tang Dynasty with the reign name Tang Taizong. Once Emperor Tang Taizong had control over the country, he set about empire building. He took out many of China's enemies in battle and also started to expand the empire west along the Silk Road towards Central Asia. On the military front, Tang Taizong was pretty much undefeated until late in his reign. But although Taizong came to power in a violent coup and excelled in military matters as emperor, Tang China also flourished from a cultural point of view under his governance. Taizong further developed many of the things that the Sui dynasty had set in motion, such as the imperial examination system based on the Confucian classics. These exams, based on merit, not family background, gave opportunities for men from unknown families to have at least a chance of moving up through the highest levels of government. The capital city of the Tang Dynasty, Chang'an, was the largest city in the world at the time, with around 1 million inhabitants. Its exterior walls of rammed earth were about 35 feet tall and 15 feet thick. Entering the city from the south gate, visitors would travel along a 500-foot wide central avenue that led to the imperial palace on the north side of the city. Many foreigners lived in the city and trade flourished. They had visitors from as far away as the Byzantine Empire in Europe. It was during Taizong's reign that the monk Xuanzang set out on his journey to India to obtain the Buddhist scriptures. This was the real-life monk that provided the inspiration for the fictional book Journey to the West, in which Xuanzang is accompanied by the magical Monkey King on his quest. Written 9 centuries later, he set off on his quest from Chang'an and returned there in 645 AD to be greeted by Tang Taizong, who was still reigning as emperor. But nothing lasts forever, and in the mid-640s, Taizong suffered some military defeats in a battle against a people that occupied what is modern-day North Korea. As the end of the decade approached, Taizong's health deteriorated, with him passing away in the year 649 AD. However, the dynasty him and his father founded continued, and culture flourished for several hundred more years until the dynasty's eventual fall. It was, of course, replaced by the Song dynasty, but nothing could match the prowess and grandeur of Tang Dynasty China. From military power to culture to religion to diplomacy, everything was at its peak in Tang times. It truly was the golden age of Chinese civilization, and Tang Taizong was the most important character of the whole period. Thank you for watching, guys, and if you want to experience the spectacle of traditional Chinese civilization on stage, my co-host Jared is currently touring with Shenyun Performing Arts. Shenyun is the world's #1 Chinese classical dance company. Their shows depict myths and legends from Chinese history, including stories from the classic novel Journey to the West, featuring the Monkey King that we talked about in this video. If you want to watch the trailer or search for tickets in your city, they are doing a world tour, so it's very likely they will be performing in a city near you. Do click the link below, and if you do buy tickets through our link, you get a waived booking fee. As always, do subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.